Okay. So Heather, if you wouldn't mind muting now, please, if everybody could just mute. And we're just going to, so basically what we want to do tonight is show you some different things, different gifts that you can make for Christmas. As we mentioned last week, it's been an incredibly challenging year for everybody, and you know, it could be financially challenging. Just the fact, particularly in Victoria, we've had this massive lockdown, thankfully, which we're coming out of and doing really well. I think we're 18 double donut days, which is amazing. But just a little bit of love with your Christmas stuff, you know, it's great, because it just shows that you're giving a bit of yourself as well to other people. So making your gifts, I think, is a great way of showing that. What else do I need to say? So basically, I will go through the Thermomix a little bit later on, but we're going to get started because we've got a few things to cook, and we'll get those going first. But if you're interested in earning some cash for Christmas or coming on board and joining our team, we have a lot of fun together. A little bit of repartee before you guys came on board. Pearl checking how much almond addiction I've eaten already, which is quite a bit. Anyway, so we have a lot of fun, and we'd love to have you join us. And it's a great way to get a Thermomix on your kitchen bench. All right. So we are going to go to, oh, sorry, one last thing. So down the bottom of your screen, there is a chat box, and you're very welcome. If you have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat box, and we will endeavour to answer them for you. We've got a couple of team members who are not actually cooking, but they are helping behind the scenes. So Boone and Irene can help with the chat box. So any questions, please feel free to put them in there. But first of all, we are going over to Nicole. Please, Boone.
So, hi everyone. Today I'm going to be making the salted chocolate caramel fudge. I had to go at making this earlier so I can show you all the finished product tonight, because it does need to set before you can try to cut it. And it's absolutely amazing. I've already passed it out to a few people so that I don't get stuck into it too early. So we'll start cooking. Now you make this in a 20 by 20 square pan, which I've already got lined and ready to go when it's all ready. We start with 170 grams of milk chocolate, which we put into the machine to break up into small pieces. I've done that already so that you don't have to watch me try to get all the little pieces out of the jug tonight. So we'll just skip past those ones. That only takes 8 seconds. Once you break the chocolate into pieces and throw it in the machine, it only takes 8 seconds for it to finally grate it for you. So our first step is to add 395 grams of condensed milk. Now I've put that into another jug to make it a bit easier for myself to get out, because you do need every little piece of it. One thing I'll note, that absolutely everything that goes into this is very, very sticky and sweet. So you will have things dripping all over the place. Once we've got the condensed milk, we add 160 grams of brown sugar.
No calories in this one.
Sorry?
No calories in this one.
No, not a single one. Great for gifts though. Don't eat it yourself, but it's great for gifts. 120 grams of diced butter, which I've just had at room temperature to make it a bit easier for the machine. 75 grams of golden syrup. Again, a very sticky one to try and get in. And then we add 50 grams of liquid glucose, which I had not used before making these, and this is the stickiest substance known to man. I ended up with little spider web kind of pieces all over the Thermomix and my spatula and all the jars. So it really is a fun one to deal with, and it will stick to absolutely everything. Just try and make sure I get all of that out. I did, when I was measuring these out earlier, I put a little bit extra in all the containers to make sure I would have the total amount when I put it into the Thermomix, because you will definitely lose a little bit to the container. Sticking to everything. And 5 pinches of fine sea salt. I thought it seemed like an awful lot of salt, but once you mix it all together, there's an awful lot of sugar in there, so you do need a decent amount just to balance it out a little bit. Now, with this cooking time, we put the lid on, and it actually asks us to stick the simmering basket on top. That's just so we don't get any condensation dripping down into it as it heats up. Now, this is going to cook for 8 minutes initially, then I'll give it a scrape down and it'll cook for another 20 minutes. So I'll pass back to someone else to carry on while I do some cooking.
Thanks, Nicole. It's back to me, Boone, please. All right, so we are going to make the bacon and cranberry jam. So just a quick little run up. I'll go through the Thermomix a little bit more detail in a minute, but basically I'm going into my week to find that. So I have set this up and bacon and cranberry jam. All right, so start cooking. I'm going to pop 2 garlic cloves in there. I've got 2 large garlic cloves, and I'm just going to chop them. 3 seconds, speed 6. And then I'm going to scrape down the sides of the bowl with the spatula, but I'm just going to show you what that's done. So literally in 3 seconds, there's your garlic cloves. So even if I'm just chopping garlic, I use this Thermomix because it's so easy to clean. Whereas, you know, there's horrid garlic presses, they just take so much. So I'm just going to scrape down the sides here. 120 grams of onions. So I've just chopped my onions up a little bit like that. They're heading in there. Then I have 300 grams of smoked bacon slices trimmed, all fat, cut into pieces. Now, I think I'm slightly under here because I actually have made another batch earlier today, so I could show you the finished product because, again, like, you know, as Nicole said, there's a fair bit of cooking time here. So I bought 600 grams, and by the time you cut the fat off, it's a little bit less. But anyway, it's fine. So quite a bit less. Anyway, it's fine because I did it with less earlier today. 20 grams of vegetable oil. So I've just got some olive oil. You see the scales here. I'm just following, just watching that, going up to 20. Go. Pop the lid on. So it's just going to chop all that, set the time 6 seconds. All I have to do is to turn to speed 4. And again, I'm going to scrape down the sides of the bowl. I'll show you what it's looking like. So some of the bacon is still quite chunky, and others have been chopped up much finer. I've dropped can't waste any. I've got a couple of pieces down here come off the spatula. All right. Next. So this is then going to cook for 10 minutes on reverse. So speed stir, so reverse. So with the blades of your Thermomix, you have a set of blades which has a sharp side and a rounded side. So when it's chopping, like we've just done, it's going in that direction. And when we want it to stir, we want the rounded side going hitting the whatever's in the bowl. And so it goes in reverse. And so that's showing that it is in reverse. And all I have to do is turn to speed spoon, which is just the very first speed on there. Okay, all right. So now we are going over to Pearl. Please, spoon.
Hi and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to make garlic infused oil. Before I start, I'll show you my liqueur that I made last week. That's this one. So I won't bring it closer so you'll see that it's going down very fast. Okay, so I have saved my recipe here and let me start cooking. So it's telling me to put 8 to 12 cloves of garlic, peel them and crush them. So one tip is, instead of chopping on the chopping board, you leave all the oils of the garlic behind. So if you do it in the Thermomix, your oils are left in the Thermomix. So next, add 500 grams of extra virgin olive oil. I was going to put my liqueur inside instead. Next, insert the measuring cup. I was supposed to show you all my screen. Next. Then I'm cooking it for 20 minutes on speed 1. So, and it'll be done. I'll pass you all back to someone else. And Boone.
Yeah. All right, so now we're over to Keisha and she's going to show us some lemon butter.
Hello everyone, I'm inserting the whisk, if you can see it. It's hard to see. The whisk between the blades and make sure it's stuck in it, because sometimes it can remove itself. So you make sure you twist it a little bit to the side so it sits nicely. And we're gonna follow the recipe, which is lemon butter. And we've inserted the whisk. And we put 40 grams of lemon juice. It's a little bit more, that doesn't matter. Next, 90 grams of castor sugar. And 80 grams of butter. And 2 eggs. You can use lime instead of lemons juice, or even oranges or grapefruits if you wish, and even the passion fruit. And it will ask me now to insert the cup, measuring cup, and whisk for 8 minutes at speed 3.
Back to me.
What else can I tell you? You can use as a gift, and you can use in pavlovas cream, folded with the cream and layered with the berries and with the berry pavlova. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we could. Yes. Thank you, Keisha. Yeah, wonderful. Thanks, Boone. So just in case you didn't get that, what Keisha was saying is the lemon butter is absolutely delicious. You fold it through cream for a berry pavlova. It's you know, got that nice lemony flavour with the berries. It's absolutely beautiful. Done that a few times. So what I'm going to do now is just give you a quick little tour of the TM6. So here we go. So with the TM6, we've got 3 dials on here. We've got time, we've got temperature, we've got speed. Whichever one of these is large is what we turn up with this button, this knob here. So I can turn my time up here. I can turn my temperature up here, and just literally going all the way around here to 120. That's on a thermostat, so it will go up to the temperature you set it to and then click off. If you want to steam, you're going to want varoma temperature. And this is also called a varoma. This sits on top, and this is how you can steam. So what I had for dinner tonight was it's a Mediterranean fish with fennel, and it was absolutely delicious. I had my fish steaming up the top here whilst I had my tomato and fennel sauce down the bottom there. It was really worth remembering, that one. So that's your varoma. Just turn that down. Then this is our speed. So this is where we turn it on. And as you remember, when I showed you before, that's reverse, so that the blades are, their rounded side is hitting whatever the contents of the bowl. Okay. Now the other thing with this, it is a smart connected kitchen, and just like using your smartphone, you swipe the screen to the left. We've got our built-in scales here. You've seen those working as I weighed some things in. But they are just amazing. They are 1 gram increments. We've also got dough mode, so that is for kneading. 2 minutes of kneading in your Thermomix is the same as 25 minutes kneading by hand. So it is really efficient for that. We've got a thing called turbo. Turbo is just super fast. I love turbo. I use it a lot, and most of my customers will know all about it because I keep asking them about it and making sure they know what it does. So what it does is, if you think about a cake mixture or a dip, you wanted to get your blades nice and clean. You can imagine it's hard to scrape off around there. You scrape off, you scrape out as much as you possibly can from the bowl. And then if you turbo, centrifugal force pushes everything off the blades to the outside of the bowl and makes it easy to scrape out. So it's a really good way to clean your bowl, get everything off there. It's also really good if you want to have a really dry bowl. Now I know this bowl has been sitting here unused for a few hours, but if it hadn't been, the next thing I'm going to actually make is a thing called rosemary salt. And I would turbo this, having washed it and dried it, to make sure that all the water was off the blades as well, and it was a really dry bowl. So turbo is amazing. I love it. We've got a pre-clean. This is also amazing. We've got 4 different levels of cleaning on here, and you literally put some water into your Thermomix, cover your blades, a little drop of dishwashing liquid or vinegar. Definitely if you're doing the browning, which is right around here, you just use vinegar, not dishwashing liquid, otherwise it will tend to froth out the top. You put this on, it washes itself, and pretty much you tip out the contents and rinse it. Just love it. Absolutely love it. Okay. We've got a blend mode, so you can blend things automatically. We've got a rice cooker mode in here. We've got a thickening mode, which is for your hollandaise sauce. Keisha's lemon butter may well be using that. We've got a warm up function, things like soup and baby food and things like that. We've got a kettle. So I used that this evening. I know what, yeah, so I made my my fish dish, and then I wanted to actually steam a few veggies. So I put just covered the blades and with some water. And you need to have a minimum of 500 grams of water, and I know when my blades are covered that I've got 500 grams in there. Put the kettle mode on, set it for 100 degrees, and then once I got there, came back here and just set 5 minutes on here to steam my veggies. Egg boiler too, you can pop eggs straight into here and you can select how you like them cooked. So you can literally go, you can have soft, medium, medium hard, or hard boiled eggs on that mode. Just pop them in there, walk away, and it will do it for you. We've also got, whoops, don't want the rice cooker on. Here we go, we've got 3 more modes here. Fermentation, that's for yogurt. Got slow cooking, and we've got sous vide. And the fact that we've got space left here means that there are more more functions coming to our smart connected kitchen. So that is how you basically sort of navigate there. We've also got, in 7 seconds, we're going to actually come back to the bacon, because we'll keep this going because this does a fair bit of cooking. All right, so my bacon and onion is all cooked up in there. Always another tip is whenever you take, if you've been cooking in your Thermomix, always turn your lid upside down so any condensation is on there and doesn't splash you. I can tear my scales, and I'm going to add sugar. Sugar is the theme for the night. Okay, we've got 160 grams of sugar, a little bit over is the theme as well. 80 grams of apple cider vinegar and 60 grams of maple syrup. So I've got them all put together in here. Tip those in. Okay. 20 grams of dried cranberries. Now, cranberries, they're tricky to find without extra sugar in the form of apple juice and a little bit of vegetable oil. So these do have that. I don't like using them, but I didn't have a chance to go to the shop where I could get them without. But I bought organic, so I'm hoping that that means they're a little bit better for me than the ones that aren't. So just be mindful. A lot of your fruit, your dried fruit, will have added extras in it, and also things like I'll never ever forget. One time I went to a supermarket and I bought some desiccated coconut. You don't have to buy desiccated coconut because you can make it in here. But the desiccated coconut, I came back and I tried, and it was full of sugar. So it's really important to read the back of all your packets. But I've got my 20 grams of cranberries. I could go on forever about that stuff. So, all right. Now, this was interesting. We didn't have any instant coffee. I had to buy some instant coffee. So I've got 1 tablespoon of instant coffee, which I have dissolved into 1 tablespoon of hot water. So that's gone in. That's been sitting there for a little bit. That's gone in. All right. And then I've got 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. I don't know if you can see this. I've got smoked paprika there on one side, and the other is cinnamon. So that's all going in as well. Okay. So I'm going to pop the lid on again. And it's going to cook for another 10 minutes just on speed stir again. So I'll just get that going because there's a fair bit of cooking with this one. All right. So just coming back to here, the other couple of things that you've got, Keisha's shown you, you have your butterfly whisk, and she's shown you that in the bowl. Butterfly whisk is used obviously with the lemon butter. It's also used for whipping cream and whipping egg whites. Now, tomorrow night, myself and 2 other team leaders are doing what's called an Easy Essentials class. In that, I'm going to be whipping cream and also then turning the cream into butter. So if you want to come along to that, then you are very welcome. If you're on my Facebook page, the link is there. If you're not, please ask your consultant for the link. There's some really great stuff in there. We're also making a cooked mayonnaise and a coleslaw and a buttermilk bread. So, but this is used for making the butter. It's also used for whipping cream. It's also used in a thing called Fruity Dream, which is a soft serve ice cream. The TM6 also has a high heat mode. And when you have the high heat mode, you need this splash guard sitting on there. It will tell you to put it on, and you'll see that it actually does lock in place with the arms. The high heat mode is only available in guided cooking, so we can't find it on here. But it's used for things like caramels. It's used for browning your meat and your onions. It's also, you can also make honeycomb in here because of that. So it goes to 160 degrees. Okay, lastly, we have what's called the simmering basket. Now, actually, Nicole had this sitting on top of the lid of her Thermomix like this, so it also stops splashing. But it can also be used inside your Thermomix like this. So you might have a sauce down here, you might have rice cooking, you might have then the Varoma sitting on top, cooking chicken and veggies and things too. So it is a multi-level kitchen, if you like. All right, and one little trick I'll just show you with, this is our spatula. You see the hook on the spatula? This can be used as a handle with your simmering basket. So you literally put into a little hole here and it comes out like that. So that's the little tour of the TM6. And I will quickly make my rosemary salt. So and I'll go through Cookie Do with you a little bit later on, but Cookie Do is the recipe platform that we access via the screen of the Thermomix. And I'll actually do it here. So we're just going to look on here. It's going to search. I have already got it in my week again, but I'll just quickly show you how you can do this. Rosemary salt. There we go. Okay, here's my rosemary salt. Just tap the recipe, start cooking. So line a baking tray. Things are all in my baking tray. Hold on. It says line it with baking paper. So as most of you have been on before will know, I'm very much into zero waste. So I'm using my mat. This is my oven mat. It is a host reward option. And I can just, it's not going in the oven with this salt, it's just going to stay out overnight to dry a bit. But I'm lining it with that. So if you only have baking paper, just make sure, particularly if you're only doing something like the salt, give it a bit of a wipe down, you'll be able to reuse your baking paper as well. My tray is ready. Okay. 10 sprigs of fresh rosemary. I'm very lucky enough to have a big rosemary plant in the garden, and it is really important that it's the leaves only, it's not the stems. So that's going in, and I'll put everything everywhere. I've got my, oh here, hiding my lid. So I put my lid on there, measuring cup in. Next, 1 minute on speed 8. So you won't be able to hear me, so I might get see if any of you've got any questions, if you can pop them in the chat box at this point in time. And where's the chat box gone? All right. What I'd love to know, any of you who don't have a Thermomix, if you could put in there, those of you who do, what is your Thermomix? If you got the TM31, the TM5 or the TM6? And also, are you thinking of making some Christmas gifts? And if so, what have you thought of so far? So I'm going to mute myself because this is going to be a little bit noisy for a minute, but would love some. Okay, so it's a good question, Miriam, but no, they are different bowls, exactly as Boone said. It's not actually the size that's different, it's what they're made out of that's different. Because of the high heat function on the TM6, it's made out of a different type of or a strengthened. I don't know exactly how it's different, but it is different because of that extra temperature. All right, so that's my rosemary chopped up after a minute. I am going to scrape down the sides, even though it's not asking me to do so. And Kelly, I can't wait to see your gingerbread house and your star Christmas tree. I think that looks amazing. The pictures that people have of that. All right, now I'm just going to add 250 grams of sea salt. I've got Himalayan salt. Okay. Next, lid on. This is so simple. I don't know if you know this, but you can pay. Yeah, I've just got to go speed 7 for 2 seconds. I'll just do that quickly. Transfer the rosemary salt onto the prepared baking tray and spread evenly. Then leave the salt to dry out overnight. And then you transfer it into a sealable jar or container. So I don't know if you know this, but you can pay $15 for rosemary salt. And all this is salt and rosemary from my garden. So it's a super cheap Christmas present, which you can use obviously on potatoes. You know, you can just put on anything, any meat, and it's beautiful on lamb, all that sort of thing. So really, really simple. I'm just going to actually transfer this onto my tray. Actually, I'll just move it out. All right. Now, the next thing I'm just going to talk you through. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Boone, for answering that question too. Yeah, thanks, Kelly. All right. So the almond addiction, I made this today, and it just was going to take a little bit too long to actually make in here, but I'll just step you through the recipe. So I've got it in my week, just coming up, almond addiction. So start cooking. I have to preheat the oven to 190. Grease and line. So I have a bit of an interesting conversation around this. So it says grease and line 2 square cake tins. I don't have square cake tins. So what I decided to do was I actually use mini muffin molds for some, and then I just use an ordinary baking tray. And I'll show you what to do. So I had 300 grams of blanched almonds. Then they are chopped, 4 seconds, speed 5. 240 grams of raw sugar, 60 grams of corn flour, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. As I didn't have full cream milk, I just used the milk that we've got in the fridge. 120 grams of butter, put the lid on, and basically it cooked for 17 minutes on reverse. And then what I did was I put it onto that tray and the mini muffin tins, and you bake it for 20 minutes. And I was actually quite pleased with the result here. So this is what I got. This is what happened with my mini muffin tin. So I've got little ones like that, which I think is quite cute, really. And they're quite nice because it is seriously addictive and very delicious. And the first thing the girls asked me when we hopped on tonight was how many you've got left. So Kelly, some will be coming over to you. But I quite like that shape. And the other thing I've done is just you let it set. So after you've done it, after it's cooled down, you pulled it out the oven and cooled down, you put it in the fridge, and then you can literally just break it up into shards. So you probably could do it if it was a bigger tray. It would have been a little bit thinner, but I guess you just have a little bit of play around. But yeah, I quite like the little round ones as well. So that's the almond addiction. Go back to my so now I'm going to do put the simmering basket on top instead of the measuring cup. Tell you what, smells so good, this bacon and cranberry jam. And 10 minutes speed stir again. So pretty simple. All right. So now, Nicole, how's your fudge going over there?
You can probably hear it's still going. I've only got a minute left.
Okay, all right. So, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay. So I'm just wondering whether we can hear you. Right. Have you got the list of other fudges that you can make there?
Yeah, there's so many different ones you can make from Cookie Doo. You can also get more off the recipe communities. There's so many amazing suggestions out there. It really is hard to decide which one to go with. I've gone with a fairly simple one today, but the other ones you can make vanilla ones, white chocolate, just a plain normal chocolate one, peanut butter fudge, pistachio, Irish cream, salted peanut, Scottish tablet. Like the list is absolutely endless. It really depends on your own tastes and what you want to put into it. The one that I'm making is the salted chocolate and caramel fudge. I will say it's a lot more caramel than chocolate. I thought the chocolate would come through a bit stronger, but it's amazing. It's very, very yum regardless, but it is certainly more caramel than chocolate, I think.
That's good news for me. I love caramel.
So at this point, it's really hot. I'll take it off and show you. So it's a really, if I can do it without tipping it out, it's a really deep caramelly color now. Very sticky, and it's bubbling away in there, so you don't want to get too close. I'm just going to add the chocolate that I grated earlier. Just throw all of that in. And we're going to put the lid back on, but this time we're going to go with the measuring cup. Because the next step is for 15 seconds, we're going to mix it all up at speed 3. Like I said, it's bubbling hot in there, so that's plenty of time at 15 seconds to get the chocolate melted and through the mix. I'll just grab my pan while that's mixing. Okay. So now we've got a nice chocolatey looking mix.
It's absolutely amazing.
It smells phenomenal, I have to say. And when I made it today, once I'd scraped all of this out and put it into the pan to set a bit, I actually threw in a couple of mugs of milk and then put it on to mix and heat for 4 minutes. And we had 2 mugs of very lovely fudgy milk, which was amazing, because you don't want to waste any. So we'll just pour that in.
That's a good tip. Whenever you made anything chocolatey, you put milk in the bowl and do that.
Exactly. So yeah, I'll pour this in. Once you've poured it in, you just sprinkle a little bit more salt on the top, just to taste. When I did it earlier, I waited about 10 seconds for it to cool, because when I put it on initially, the salt kind of melted straight into it, dissolved straight away. So if you just wait a couple of seconds for it to set just a little bit, the salt will sit on top and look really lovely. So that's it from me. I will show you the plated up one shortly.
Thanks, Nicole. That's great. Back to me. Yeah. Okay. So my bacon is still going there, and my bacon jam smells incredible. But what I'm actually going to show you is I made some earlier. Just get a teaspoon. So this is it's been sitting there. I made that just before lunch, and I filled up a jar. I had quite an interesting time looking at jars. So this is a marmalade jar, which I like these jars, and one of the really nice things is the labels come off really easily too. So they are a preference. It's got the marmalade thing on the top, but you can do, you can do something like put like a little thing on the top like that to cover up the lid. But what I found was, you can see that is a full jar. It actually asks you to leave 5 mils at the top and to seal the jar whilst it's still hot. So I've done that, and I still had some left, and I have tasted a little bit as well. Really good. So what I thought, well, hang on a minute, I need to find another jar that's just a little bit bigger. So this jar, believe it, that is 500 mils. And I had another one which I thought was a mayonnaise jar. I thought, oh, that looks bigger, but that was actually 400 mils. So the jar that I've come up with, which I think will be perfect for this, the full amount, this is what do you call them? A gherkin jar, like, you know, those sweet gherkins. This is 560 grams. So I'm thinking that the difference, this little bit here, will actually work. It will be the right sort of size. So that's that. All right, I will show you, we've got 3 minutes left on there. What I'm going to do is show you the spicy Cajun rub next, and we'll have a little look at cookie too, and all the incredible, huge number of gifts that you can make that are on there. All right, so I'm going to just, sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to go to my week, and I'm going to find the, here it is, the spicy Cajun rub. And I was showing this to Andrew before we started, and he's going, oh my goodness, I cannot believe all those spices going in there. But we have, first of all, the salt. So I've got 160 grams of salt. So my Himalayan salt again. Then up here, put them all out before. See this beautiful, colourful plate. This is all going in. So I have 1 tablespoon of chili powder, which is that one. I have 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika. Looks like a souk in a, you know, Morocco or somewhere, I reckon. It looks amazing. Got dried onion, which is here. I've got my granulated garlic, which is there. I've got ground cumin, which I'm pretty sure is that one. I've got cayenne pepper, which I've put somewhere. It went in there, I can show you. Now thyme, I've got some mixed herbs, and I've also got oregano. So I don't have dried thyme and dried basil, so I just use mixed herbs. I've got ground coriander, which is in the middle there. I've got white pepper, which is just over here. And there's my black pepper down there. So all those are going in. It's so pretty. Whole lot in. And then it's asking me to put the measuring cup into the mixing bowl lid. And it's literally, I've got to turn to speed 7 for 5 seconds. Transfer into sealable jar. How easy is that? Just move this back here, and I just got a mouthful. Amazing. And I'm just going to put it in. I've just got a little jar here. Now there is a really good trick, which I know Keisha showed us last week. I'm not sure it's going to work for this jar though. So, oh no, it will. So you can actually put your lid upside down over there, so that anything that doesn't go make it into the jar is caught by the inside of the lid. So I'll just pop this in like this. I did miss a bit. That's gone back in there for now. There we go, so 5 seconds worth, and that's a Christmas present. Super easy. So it does suggest that you can actually, it's a really good gift to have on the Christmas table. So you can put it, have it there in front of people, you know, for people. The other thing I'm doing much more, I did this last year as well, is trying to make little things. So, you know, the Christmas crackers, or bonbons as you call them here, then I'm trying to make little things to put inside them. So rather than the, you know, the plastic that you get, because I'm, you know, zero waste thing. The spice rub, you can use it for meats. Yeah, so but basically put it on meats, but I reckon you could put it on potatoes. You could do, you know, anything really, whatever you felt that you wanted to add a little bit of something to. There's also in cookie dough, there's the Skinny Mix's cauliflower soup, a cauliflower and chicken soup, and that asks for a little spice on top of the chicken when it's cooking. I have a Cajun spice rub, but hang on, what have I just done? This is the Cajun spice rub. I've got another, what it's called, another one I've made anyway, which I would, but you could use this as well. So just for any extra little bit of seasoning, I think it'd be actually really nice on potatoes. All right, so that was my my jam finished. I'm actually not going to put it into the jar because I've realised I haven't warmed my jar. Really important when you're putting something hot into a jar that your jar is warm. Otherwise, you're going to crack your jar, and that's going to be a total waste of everything. So I forgot to put the oven on to warm that up, but you put it on about 100 degrees. Also, when it comes to sterilising your jars, you can actually put them in your varoma and steam them for 20 minutes. So you just have your 500 grams of water, varoma temperature, speed 1 for about 20 minutes. Just have your jar sitting in the varoma, and that will sterilise them. Then just dry them off in a low oven. All right. Couple of things I wanted to show you too. We'll do cookie dough next. So I'm just going to share my screen. Hang on, something funny won't happen there. All right. Actually, before we go to cookie dough, I just thought I'd show you our mix shop, our Thermomix shop, it's got the 12 days of Christmas on at the moment, and there are some really great deals. But these are so every day they put there's a discount on something on the mix shop. Today it was actually everything to do with sous vide. It's probably still on if they've still got anything left. So I don't know if our sous vide thing is here. Yeah, the vacuum sealer and bags. It's 40% off, I think it was. It can't be 40, but 50% off, something like that. No, 40% off. That makes sense. But I'm not the accountant. Pearl can tell us if that's right. Anyway, there's some great things. We've got the gingerbread house bundle here, complete festive baking bundle. And I think what Kelly was talking about before is these premium Christmas cookie cutters and the star shape, so you can make your incredible looking Christmas trees out of it. So some wonderful stuff in the mix shop. And if you're looking for Christmas presents for people as well, there's some great things. If we just go quickly look at bestsellers, there's some small things in there. But look, this is for ice cream. You can make your own ice cream, ice cream molds. Let's have a look at the other ones. Not bestsellers, new arrivals. There's some lovely things in here too. There we are. That's the Star Tree cookie cutter. That's what you can make with it. It's really cool. Very nice. So there's lots of wonderful things in there for Christmas presents for anybody, whether they have a Thermomix or not. But let's go to cookie dough. So I've made a playlist of Christmas gifts in here, and I have 81 recipes. So they're just different ideas, and I'll show you how you can actually find all these things in a minute. But we've got gluten-free options as well, gluten-free gingerbread, Stilton and walnut biscuits with roasted garlic jam. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just quickly it'll scroll down. That's our bacon and cranberry jam. There's our lemon butter we've made tonight. Sauces, yeah, that's a different spice rub, but they're just so simple. The salted caramel sauce made last week, the almond addiction. Those were the Christmas biscuits we made last week. There are so many different options. It's Pearl's garlic oil. So there's just so many things that you can do. So different salts. There's a citrus salt. There's another salt as well. There's a porcini mushroom salt as well. You can make, like that sauce that you buy in the supermarket, where it hardens on your ice cream. You can make that. Pestos. And so it goes on. There's Pearl's berry liqueur, macarons, another fudge. So many different things that you can make in there. So if we actually go to the front page of Cookie Dough, this is what you come to, and it will show you the latest recipes. This is from the latest collection that we've had, which is a book which is a low carb cookbook. Here we are, vegan Christmas cake. Who would have thought? There we are, Heather. That one's for you. So you can, and they're obviously cooking. Oh, pancakes are obviously the go at the moment. So lots of different ideas. Make these ahead for Christmas. This is some of the stuff we're going to do next week. We're going to do some things that you can make ahead and freeze. I'm not actually going to make those two, but we are going to make a stuffing and some gravy and a few other bits and pieces. So we'd love to see you next week. It's going to be the same time. It will be a different link. So just ask your consultants for the link. Okay, we'll go through to all the recipes on Cookie Do. We can actually go by collections. There's our low carb collection. One of the great collections for Christmas time is Festive Flavor. This is a beautiful book. So this is the sort of pavlova I was saying, but you can add that add the lemon butter to. But this has got some beautiful salads. It's got some beautiful, that is incredible. Beautiful nibbles as well. Things, again, it's got some gifts. So this is a great, that would be a great gift as well for people who like a bit of cheese, you know, a bit of a cheese platter with some plum and cherry paste. That's the mixed berry pavlova stack that the lemon butter is beautiful through. But there are 3 different pavlovas that you can make. It's a really, really good Christmassy and entertaining type of book. You can see there's heaps in there. All right. But if we were looking for Christmas gifts, we would go recipes. We're going to use filters. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to actually scroll down to the bottom. I'm going to do Irene's way. I'm going to go English, get rid of Australia. Oh, that's because I've got Festive Flavor in there. We'll get rid of that. Go Christmas. So we've got a few, there's a walnut brittle, and there's a whole lot of different things. So we've got the rumbles here. The way I actually put my list together was actually then went to collections, and it gave me a few collections from around the world and books. So I know that that one actually is a book. I think that's got about 60 something recipes in it. We'll just have a look, 63 recipes in it. And look at these, how cute's that? Great for kids to not feel left out on Christmas Day if you're doing a little cocktail. But you've got mulled wine in there, not that we particularly need that. Christmas pull apart bread, you know, there's some beautiful things in there. And oh, for Christmas Day, oh, that's I think that's vegan, Heather, too. Those potatoes with rosemary and garlic. You can use your rosemary salt on there. So lots of amazing things in there. But if you just click through on the different collections, there's vegan and Christmas for vegan and vegetarian recipes, Christmas, German Christmas baking. So many different ideas. And if you decided, okay, you wanted to make the nougat biscuits, you would go, okay, I'm going to add that to my week. So I'll put that in for the weekend. I'm going to save it. I might also go, actually, I'm not sure I've got that in the collection. I'm going to add it to a collection, and I'm going to find my Christmas gifts collection, add it to there. And because I won't have the ingredients, I'm going to add it to my shopping list. So when I find my collections, I come back into my recipes, my created collections, and there's my Christmas gifts. I've also got a Christmas entertaining one. I've got cocktails, 63 cocktails. Go into my week, which is where I found the recipes that we were cooking today. Here we are, we've got the almond addiction. Those are all the ones that we've cooked today. And that was my dinner, which was very nice. If we come down here, we've got, oh, so tomorrow night, these are some of the things that we're actually making in the class tomorrow night: the coleslaw, the buttermilk bread, the cooked mayonnaise, sauteed onions, cream and butter. So, oh, here's a nougat biscuit. So they're in there. Come back up here, and they're in my shopping list. So I can have a look at the ingredients in my shopping list. I can go, actually, I know I've got the hazelnuts. I don't have icing sugar, but I can make the icing sugar in my Thermomix. So why buy some sugar? I've got raw sugar. That's all I need. I can make all that. I have the plain flour. I don't have the nougat. I have the unsalted butter, and I have the eggs. So to actually complete that recipe, all I need is the nougat. But I might actually need to get some greens or something for dinner tomorrow night to go with the rest of my fish thing. So I've got that. So I can share that with somebody. I can send it to them via an email. I can print it out if I want to, but I don't really need to, and I'll show you why in a minute. Or I can order the ingredients. Probably won't recognize my greens, but I can go straight to Woolworths online, and it's going, yeah, so it won't do my, oh, hang on. That's funny. It didn't find the nougat, but it found the leafy mix for my greens. Anyway, you can imagine there are a lot more things on there. It just populates it. And if you don't want the Woolworths leafy mix, you go in here and you swap it. But that is just an incredible system that you have with your Thermomix, being able to do that. So I'm going to stop sharing. Why won't it do that? Doesn't want to stop. Oh, screen stop share. There we go. Okay. So the reason I don't need to share my I don't need to print my list is because I've got it on my phone. So here we go. It's available here, and you can see. And if I go into here in my shopping list, I've just got that nougat and my greens on there. So I can just go around the supermarket, click off the things when I've actually put them in my basket. So it's a really fantastic system. And Caroline, you can use Cookie Dough, but if you don't own a Thermomix, the recipes aren't really going to work too well for you because they are all Thermomix methods. The capacity of the bowl is 2.2 litres, which is the same as the TM5. It's just that that is made of that different material to allow for the high heat. Just a couple of things before we go around and have a look and see what everybody's completed recipes are like. Just some ideas for presenting. You can actually get these little boxes, like noodle boxes, from something like a $2 shop. You can fill them up. They make, you know, really good for putting some gifts in. You can also in the $2 shop get little boxes like this and just put something in the bottom of them and fill those up. Just got a red one of those, which has got Merry Christmas on. And of course, you know, I've got my onion and bacon, my bacon and cranberry jam, which I've just tied a ribbon round, and I'll fill that up a little bit now it's settled a bit more. I'll fill that up a bit more. But again, you can just do a ribbon, or, you know, use your imagination, whatever you want to do. So there's lots of ways you can make your gifts really pretty as well. So what we will just quickly do is go around and have a look at Nicole's fudge, please. Boom.
So that's the finished fudge. I just cut it into little squares, and having tasted it this afternoon, we were just eating the offcuts. I would probably make these squares smaller again. It is very rich, very tasty, but very rich. So you don't want it any bigger than that. The recipe says that you should let it harden for, I think, 2 hours. Like I said, when you take it out of the jug, it's bubbling hot. So it does cool down reasonably quickly, but I let it set on the bench for about an hour before I even put it in the fridge. And then I would give it at least another 2 hours in the fridge before you try to cut it. If you cut it before then, you'll see that it's not really cool all the way down to the bottom. I found that the bits that were in contact with the container were still not quite set enough. So I would leave it to set for as long as you can before you slice it.
Okay, thank you. I just checked. It did say 2 hours or overnight.
Yeah.
And Nicole, did you have to use a hot knife to cut it or not?
I didn't. I used a ham knife actually because it was nice and long.
Yeah.
And it had a flat blade so that I didn't get any marks on the fudge as I cut it.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you very much. We'll go to Pearl next, please, Boone. Need to unmute yourself, Pearl. Beautiful.
My oil is ready. And the garlic also is done. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to throw this garlic away. I can use it for something, for some cooking, because it smells nice. So, and there are different types of oils you can make. You can make chili oil, you can make rosemary oil, or any oil you want to make, infused oil. In fact, I was thinking of making chili oil today, but I changed my mind and decided to make the garlic one instead.
That's perfect. And you know, if you come across anyone with FODMAPs who can't have garlic, they can often have garlic oil. So that's a really good gift for someone like that. Thank you, Pearl. That's lovely. Now we're going to go to Keisha to have a look at her lemon butter.
Here we are. This is lemon curd that's set in a jar, like decorated like Mandy said. And when I think you can use the lemon butter in 4 weeks if it's in the fridge, or you can freeze it in a box, making sure that it's a space to expand. And when you take it out of the Thermomix, it was a little bit runny, but it sets a little bit later. And this is the finished product. It's like this. I'm gonna use it for crepes tomorrow.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Keisha. All right, back to me. So you've seen everything that that I have made tonight anyway. I'd like to thank all my team for coming on and doing their bit and sharing everything that they know with you guys. So thanks, guys. I'd like to thank you guys for coming too. And please remember that I do have the Easy Essentials class tomorrow night. You're welcome to come along. Please just contact your consultant, whoever invited you here tonight, to get the details of that. And also hosting. If you're coming along, we're going to do these things for the next few weeks on a Tuesday night, as I progressively going towards Christmas, doing different things. If you want to bring a couple of people along with you, then you actually qualify for host rewards. You saw that mat that was one of them that I had before, which I'm going to put my rosemary salt on to dry overnight. And we also have thermo servers. For anybody who doesn't have a thermo server, these are fantastic. They keep your food warm for up to 2 hours, or cold as well. I love them. So my fish I made a little bit earlier today and just put the thermo server. It was wonderful. So it gives you a bit more flexibility of when you actually cook. And if anyone is interested in getting a bit of cash for Christmas or earning a TM6, then of course contact your consultant. We'd love to have you join our team. Thank you very much. Has anyone got any questions? You're welcome to come off mute and ask them.